What did it be by this? Hey, I think I'm gonna do some more streaming, man.
Well, there's something to do with Bouncer.
Sure.
I legit gonna have like thinking about doing stuff more creative, like writing and painting. It's a sign that I should just stick to streaming thing.
Okay, good. You want the worst one there because you're about to remove the mech that you would end up magnetizing it to anyway. Yeah, it's just good psychology.
Rush probably would have been fine.
I've been waiting for.
True. Yeah, that's fair.
I am wondering though if it may sort of be biting Gamer here that he did not go for just drawing 2 guaranteed prismatic beams. Something that's typically pretty.
Hey, what do you guys think about C4? I'm gonna ask these guys.
I think
it's hard to say though because they wouldn't really have been that efficient anyway, right? To the same reason why the 2 damage AoE off the mixologist potions just wasn't as attractive as it usually would be. Beams, yes, they would be fine here, but not necessarily like the game-winning explosion that you would sometimes see.
No, but you can expect them to be useful, and unlike the DL2, they only hit your opponent's side of the board.
Yeah, sure.
Another bouncer, and we've got hero power 1/1 to go with it. The Divine Shield really annoying though for Yarla, since he is on this, one big minion plan.
Yep.
Nice game sounds.
Really
I'm hungry again. Let's put in a pizza. Let's put a baby into the oven.
With little minions here and there, 2/2.
Let's put a pizza into the oven.
Themselves just chipped away,
And
taking way
protein
too much
bar.
damage because 3/4 attacking on turn 2 into a 5/7 attacking on turn 3 against most arguably slower decks. You could see just snowballing and ending the game.
Yeah, I mean,
Gamer RBG has just kept really good control of this.
To be at 25 with the Divine Shield under all that is a pretty healthy spot.
Yeah.
Oh, the trade or go face question there is so miserable because they both seem so futile, right? You go face, you know that they have more Divine Brews in hand anyway, so you might just be put straight back in the same position next turn. But because you're still not making tokens, you're now just in the spot where, like, well, no, I don't want to go face with any of these minions next turn either. I would have been tempted to make my opponent just spend the 1 mana on re-upping the Divine Shield, personally.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it forces your opponent to do something, even if it's still not best circumstances for you. You are placing a tax on them.
Oh, that's such a good draw.
Yep.
It's so clean. 3 there, click there. 5 there. It's the stuff Hearthstone Magic is made of.
Like cocaine.
Oh, and
Wait,
Only
what?
the patches
It's
had
not the
3.
time?
Oh,
Again?
there
Then
they
you
are.
actually- Hey! 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 Yala's a genius. He had it under control the whole time.
They don't
Face
like their
genius.
captain, right? That silly patches is gone. Now the parachute.
Uncompromising
Right.
clicking
Yeah.
veins.
Oh, this is clever.
Experience
Here we go.
of clicking
Yeah,
20
you get
stages
the
of
cheese
screen.
and just a 2-drop for the coin.
For the veins.
Jarla finally able to have a spell for this Ethereal Oracle.
And you don't make the same mistake we saw yesterday, where there was the Starship discount piece in hand, and they tried to make the same play, and the cheese cost 1, and it didn't work.
Oh no. And now, but there's finally a wide board. Gamer has to be thinking.
Now this is where you get to gloat about how good Prismatic Beam would be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much less worried you would be about Thrall's Gift into Bloodlust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it's fine. That probably draws it anyway. Is there hand space? Do you need to, like, do 1 Divine Brew first?
Oh, because of drinks? Yeah, that's a good point. No, because normally you never have to worry, right? You play 2 cards, it draws 2 cards, it's always fine. But yes, when it's a drink specifically. Because I think, can't quite tell from the art that's concealed, but I think only 1 of them has been played so far, right? So that one that we can see that clearly has at least 1 drink missing, I think is still on 2.
Okay, or you can play a salesman, sure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna drop the salesman, it's fine.
I guess if we miss, then it's something like... Yeah, no, never miss.
Imagine missing.
Well, now 4 of the, 6 cast when drawn pirates have been there, so Ethereal Oracle isn't
Join the challenge. No, I'm lazy as fuck.
super likely to do that anymore. Otherwise, you'd like to pull those out to use with Cookie.
Mm.
I just realized Yarla very heavy on the Horn of the Windlords. A lot more lists have just 1.
Oh, there it is again. Okay.
There's the gift.
Ribbit.
Depending on how much you fear the spell damage here, you could theoretically use that to clear, but I think that is
Oh yeah, the
probably far
baguette
too
rabbit.
pessimistic.
Yeah.
I think the
Baguette
games that you
did,
win from this
baguette
position,
ribbit.
that spell damage does not end up mattering too much.
Good top tech. So a world where you just Horizon, Titan, buff your own board, make a couple trades.
Sounds pretty sick, honestly.
Because if you force your opponent to hex your Titan, that's 1 less bloodlust to deal with. Yeah.
And it's also infinite mana that they have to spend on their turn. Like,
Yeah.
you know, gifts. There's a reason why the 2 most common usages we see of gifts are using it for ramp in Druid and using it for Bloodlust in Shaman. Because one of those, you don't care about all the extra mana you're spending because you're gaining it back anyway. And then the other one ends the game, so you also don't care about how much mana you're spending. Whereas spending 4 on a Lightning Storm or spending 4 on a Hex or whatever else, like even spending 4 on a Swipe is a lot of mana to be spending a lot of the time. However,
feeling good still because I was exercising.
So actually, you're
elevated. I'm an elevator.
For regular mana.
Yeah, and I was going to say that actually means you can do a very interesting play here, which is instead of going for, well, I guess you could still go for Hex, but you can either Hex.
One reason I have such high energy levels is because I exercise, but mostly it's the health,
Horn,
the boosters, and the green smoothie, and the
Titan, and
mostly vegan diet though.
But the Titan effect would still be in play for the other minions. Right?
True. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, here you would do this and.
Yeah.
Yes, like I have a strange energy that allows me to, like if I had ADHD, make sure that silly, strange, and odd builds and characters, the wrong places being the video games, I have the power to really pull through places where other people cannot. And it's a lot about, it's only possible to have such high energy, right? Only possible because they have diagnosis, right? In my case, Asperger's. With my good, but they really do rival people with ADHD in manners and mannerisms and behavior and speech. Is just that I can pay attention to things, you know. It's not like if I have 2 sentences instead of 1, people are gonna stop paying attention. What's happening over there? Maybe I'm gonna. I don't want to buy it to the key energy. Well, for some reason, I had to pause that. Because
like the Horn doesn't clean kill the Titans.
Yeah,
I tried, but
the Storm would only do 2 to the Oracle.
This is better.
Yeah.
In my head, like I was also.
So like there was a loud echo or something.
No.
Yeah, exactly like that.
This cookie has been sitting around all game to do exactly something like this.
Pyromancer jump scare. Hang on.
It could be worth coining just to. Well, no. I guess there's only one thing it would kill.
No,
it would upgrade.
No,
it would upgrade 2. I mean, he has 2 1-health minions it would upgrade, but then it would damage a whole bunch of others. I don't know, like, what's better in that situation.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't say cold, they said corn slosh. They noticed that.
The AoE is prismatic beam,
which clears anyway.
Right?
The Rig is a very nice Swedish word we don't have in English.
Obviously, the players have.
And it's kind of having too much between having too much energy and being annoying.
And the game state to resume, which it does. No great.
But if your kid says baguette 3 times in a row while you're trying to enjoy your team slapping, he's being dryg.
Go on.
I feel like that trade means that there's not going to be a coin.
This guy is called Drygberg. Sorry. Berg.
It's definitely worth considering.
It is really tempting. Like, you got 2 very sucky 2-drops there. Especially based on the standard of cookie 2-drops that we've been seeing so far.
It is, sir. It is definite.
Chance that you get a taunt, right?
Irrefutable that they have
much more value if you
have over energy a lot of the time.
And there's also no danger here.
I have
It's
an
not like you're
abundance,
revealing
very
any
similar to
information by
ADHD.
waiting this long with zero
And
mana.
this is,
You should
I guess, a little bit
know
different
that the point is
situations
there
now.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I act seeing as I possibly can whenever I can. She doesn't go to
No
waste.
Questionable.
Bro got a 0-5. When I'm depressed, I can't do it.
This is twin Ziliax now, potentially.
Yeah, it's always fun being
Although,
around
yes.
me. I might be a
Your
thinker.
opponent is showing horn though, so like,
I'm the most
dealt with
funniest
immediately.
one.
In which case, you'd be what you would.
You trade the 0-5 with
Like this
Well,
personality
you kill the cookie and yeah, the 0-5.
type pages.
and the 0-5.
Dating an ENTP is never boring. They're a whirlwind of
attack
energy and weird and
blocker, I suppose, out of your Ziliax.
The pyro is.
they're
awkward
exciting.
That it has to be traded off before Yarla can go for the gift.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
They have an abundance of energy, you could say. Bro's chilling, not chilling anymore. His
Going for
pot or whatever.
the highest damage minions, sure. I guess, let's see. So you horn into both of these pieces. You get in for 3, and then you bloodlust. Alternatively, I mean, Yarla is getting pretty low is another factor here.
That's fair.
And so he doesn't want to accidentally die. So there's a world where you maybe try and use like the grow fin to do something.
Just think about being depressed and lethargic or being high energy.
It's still awkward because of board
It's
space,
so
though.
fun having high energy. And it's usually just too much for stupid people.
Honestly, if you'd have asked me the odds of this,
The best way you can get is just improving your health. If you have a 6 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, it's easily energy in there. You just need more fruits per day. It's the least thing you can do. If you eat 3 fruits per day, you will definitely feel
didn't really have mana to do anything else.
a brilliant energy.
Couldn't get the cactus cutter down or anything like that.
So get some more right now. Compare with the pizza.
Now, an oracle once again to draw a potentially clutch prismatic beam.
Which, yeah, looks pretty likely. What do we got? Snake Oil Manager and Prismatic remain.
Yeah, so you can. I feel like you could even start with the Leg Horizon.
It's harmless, right? It's 2 cards to replace 2 cards, so you can see the concealed information first and then make.
Sure, yeah, right. Because if it's just enough damage with the spell damage, but not quite. No beam. It's tough.
Oh yeah. Manager. Divine Brew. Okay, 0-2 Torn actually ended up being kind of clutch.
Hang on, chat. I'm just gonna mute you here.
Did we get out?
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Doesn't look like it. Yep.
Game a moment.
And this can be the problem when you don't start doing things until the rope, right? The goal there was to spend that other coin and use the Holy Glow Sticks on that 8/5, right, with the spell damage. But not getting those actions in,
Yep.
I think has got to be, I mean, if not lethal, pretty close with the Bloodlust. You can actually gift and Dangerous Cliffside alongside the Bloodlust right now because of the piece.
Yes. That is correct. Which means, yeah, it's lethal, right? You're 2 off just with the attacks that are showing and with the 1/1 going in. So with the cliffside, it's lethal.
Yeah, Kamer not feeling good about that one. You know, seeing the bloodlust and leaving the room.
You're actually 1 off because you can make this attack in with 3 instead of 4. Yeah, that makes sense.
The Divine Shield's still, you know, pretty relevant. But, yeah, haven't added this up. I assume Jarla has. Still has, you know, a couple more points. Yep, there's the last point.
Whoa, no, please, no, not twice in a row. No, I refuse. Oh,
no!
Oh, actually, just delete Hearthstone.
No!
Pack it up. It's never Hearthstone. Why are you doing this?
And this is the price, right? This is the price you pay on taking a while to think it out. Now, Jarla had a lot of damage to calculate and figure that out. But, yeah, I mean, for both of them to make the same mistake, and it's just taking a while to think about these turns. Those were, benefit of the doubt, those were pretty complex situations.
They were. I think gamers more so, and again, I'm not going to apologize for players roping and missing lethal. It's just bad. That sucks. You shouldn't do it, you know. But like, gamers' position was more complex. I don't think Jarla's was as like Jarla's position was difficult because of the pressure that he was under. Right? Like, I saw that fairly quickly that it was lethal. But Jarla would have seen that it was lethal and then gone, right, this is for the series, I'm going to count it, then recount it, then recount it again to be sure. Yep. And then at that point, he runs out of time.
Yeah.
That's so cruel.
So brutal. So now it is going to come down to, does the Swarm Shaman beat the Rogue?
I guess, yeah. Narratively, yeah. I guess it's the most fitting end to the series. Unbelievable. That had 2-2 written all over it. Then it had 3-1 written all over it, and then it just had disaster written all over it with various clown emojis scattered all over the place. Oh my goodness.
And I gotta imagine Gamer right now is just imagining that he's dodged a bullet, because that was over. Yeah.
Yep. Quiet shrug. That's
not how you want. Not how you want to win a series, but it's the World Championship. I guess you'll take it, and we'll have to see whether he can capitalize on this second chance.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll come down to Shaman versus the Rogue now. And that means that Gamer in particular is going to have to refocus, right? I think Jarla can get away with it, has a slightly more straightforward deck to contend with. If Gamer goes too far the other way now, where he's like, okay, I'm now going to second guess myself even more, I'm going to doubt myself even more, he's going to lose, because you just straight up can't do that with this deck in any way, shape or form. You have to commit to turns early, just because the actions take so long to complete anyway, with the animations on top of that as well. So Gamer needs to lock in. Both players need to lock in, but particularly on the Rogue side. Jarla, are you talking about dodging bullets? Jarla needs to full cosplay Neo from the Matrix now, because he needs to find a way out of the mess that he has created for himself and get out with the Shaman at the final attempt.
Alright, one good way to eat 3 or 5 fruits is just eating a melon.
I think a lot of people would feel pretty comfortable with either of these decks as their one remaining, right? With Rogue or with Shaman, they're considered a couple of the most powerful. Depends on who you ask, which is better. But you gotta be shook after an ending like that for either player.
Yeah, I think there's good reason why we're having a delay here, because if I was either of those players, I'd be going outside, letting some fresh winter air hit me in the face, getting a glass of water, like anything I can do. If it happens to be snowing wherever you are, just dive face first into a pile of snow, like whatever it takes. Wake yourself up because that is absolutely not good enough at this level, and that's what pressure does. Obviously, you know, we're being cruel, we're making fun, we're pointing out a mistake that doesn't need to be pointed out over and over again, but that's what happens. That's what we have to talk about, right? We can only commentate on what we're given, and now these players need to find a way to hope.
Profin, always nice to kick things off as well. Gamer RVG going to be looking for that Ethereal Oracle, which is really what all the draw hinges around in this rogue these days.
Yep. Yeah, play Oracle, play a backstab or a prep or something, shadow step the Oracle back to your hand, play it again. Hopefully those couple of turns have got you enough tempo that you can drop your 5-mana Scoundrel on 5 or 6. And then from there, the world is your oyster. Sounds simple, in practice, anything but. Alright, quick pick, good start.
And see Gamer going for the gear shift.
Getting through absolutely does wonders for your blood sugar.
Thinking probability-wise is dig for treasure guaranteed, hits a minion.
Bro, I got an audio problem.
Find minions. So if the gear shift had found him any, that means fewer minions in deck, so higher likelihood of dig for treasure hitting or.
Lessons will never be learned, ever. I refuse to learn this lesson. I will continue to rope every turn.
But do you coin? Please don't miss matches. Okay. That is
making a point right there. That's what that is. That is a statement being made from Yala. The most unflappable man on the planet.
Oh.
Ooh, hello. One very high tempo turn available, one turn a little bit slower for now, but huge investment in the future.
There we go. Stuff is killing me, man.
Was to like greedy partner double.
It used to be so bad.
Enormous tempo, but that kind of strands the Oracle in your hand a little bit as well. So I like this.
Yeah, and it gives you.
Fixing that problem every day, but
deserve the cheese.
it's so exhausting, man.
If I can,
it might as well be
if I can go for 4s,
moving my own side from my own decapitation.
2s right away can be nice, but there is the chance of hitting Doomsayer.
It brings me so low. Stupid ass.
Yeah, I think
feature nobody needed with the headphones.
The most comfortably out of range of like single task.
My own guillotine for my own decapitation, right?
Getting decent chunky minions above 3 health most of the time.
Interesting, actually. Prepping out the dig. I guess that was
decapitation with a baguette.
Yeah,
doesn't work though, does it?
But probably
maybe we could just try something sharp, eh?
No, probably save the backstab because
we don't have anyone sharp in France. Yep. I surrender.
Ah ha ha.
All right, 4 remaining. Ziliax, I gotta imagine means we're playing Sigil. No? Okay.
So much damage lined up already. Slow, awkward hand from Gamer as well.
And this is what can happen when you don't have the Oracle. You can't do any of these fancy plays that we saw yesterday. Oracle, Tarslick, backstab, you know, kill the whole board, like draw into prep.
Yeah, it's pretty much like honey.
Still be able to do it all over again. So
looking
now
like
we're...
swing at a 1-1, backstab another 1-1, and dubious purchase.
I think those stuffy Americans are so ridiculous when they end their sentences with fried chicken and baguette.
Which would let you fan if you drew it. Doesn't let you do anything with Oracle.
Yeah.
Wow, gonna double backstab
Sure.
even. Jeez, guarantee one of the bigger hits with the dubious purchase, sure. I think I was gonna take 2 out of 3 personally. Oh, they just keep coming.
Well, and Cactus Cutter, good odds of hitting another one. I believe cheese is on 4 now.
Should be.
So there could be potential to like play the cheese for refill, play the sigil as backup. Oh no, it's on 3.
Oh, of course, yeah, it would have to have been played on turn 1 for it to be on 4 on turn 4.
Right. Yeah. Still, out of Doomsayer range. See, I expected it to be on 4 because of the time taken. Hosen picked up. Hosen picked up is very interesting.
Well, if Cheese just upgraded every 45 seconds of game time, these would be the 2 greatest Hearthstone players of all time.
Okay, sure. Yes, you cheese and get the immediate Ziliax. Makes this board harder to clear as well. The backstab's gone, makes Tarslick less of a threat.
What kind of baguette is this, Chad?
Okay, there's 2 of them now, though. Yeah, I was going to say, I counted this after the fact because Gamer
Pouring the melon on my floor.
Hearthstone than me, but actually him using
I think I could hear that, but you could.
Without the extra pirate being drawn off the top, it played around Cheese Ziliax. It would have been 1 too expensive with him killing the extra minion, which I think is probably part of the motivation on his part.
Get offended when I say stuff like butt pirates, Chad.
Backstab on the previous turn, but then Yala just ripped the extra pirate off the top anyway.
Yeah, Nose is not hitting minions, so taking the extra draw.
Butt piracy gauntlet. That's something to see.
Double Tarslick.
It's better than the Prima Donna gauntlet. Or the steel gloves. Knight's boxing gauntlet.
Again,
Get 0 giants alongside this as well.
Running out of time, so we'll see. Yeah, so this removes the buffs on everything else, so that the fan...
Get this breakdance. Breakdance is such a long animation, it's so long!
Yeah, yep.
Please!
Well, you certainly don't replay the giant after the breakdance.
There's a good chance he is a fair way ahead of us in terms of his actions.
True.
So
yeah.
Okay.
No, okay.
All right, he's good.
Did get it down. Okay.
It's me that's cracking. The players are fine, it's me.
And yeah, this is where people are like, yeah, Rogue's favored. Because you have a turn like that.
Yeah.
And I think Yarlo's maybe hoping to hit... Well, okay, hitting the pirates, excellent. Horn is good, although feels a little worse than if you just picked up Thrall's gift. I like this. Because I don't know if... Have we seen both fans or just the one?
There is 1 fan remaining. It was double Tarslick fan. There was not a fan used before that. Yeah, our tracker says there's still a fan in the deck as well.
Gotcha.
Whether this
wow, that was so difficult actually. Suddenly they're gone. The melon gone.
Nope.
Delicious.
Never mind. You never trust the button.
So Gamer's best bet is to Oracle and then step something.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of want to step the giant because you can replay it for free. Let's see. But you do this, you play a free Oracle.
Let's put pizza in the pizza.
Yeah, you then step the giant.
In the pizza.
And if you do hit fan, you can
Scoundrel fan.
Fan anyway.
Or breakdance and do that, but breakdance is not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. There is 3 in play still.
Yeah.
Which means the weapon is going to get there. A nod and a shrug from Yala. He knows it's not a series that he's going to particularly put in his highlight reel. But he gets to go away, he gets to refocus, he gets to progress in this World Championship. Gamer RBG, on the other hand, is falling just short of greatness yet again. Yala is progressing through, and there I think you see the little self-aware smirk just spreading across. He knows, he doesn't need to be told, we don't need to pile on anymore. Anything that we can possibly say to him, he has already gone through, and will continue to go through for about the next 10 minutes or so, and then he just has to play another entire series of Hearthstone, because that's how brutal this tournament is going to be on these players.
Yeah, once you're in that, elimination position, you don't get a break.
Yeah, it looked for a second that Gamer was going to have navigated his way through that tricky position. This was lightning fast start from Yala. Going patches on 1, hitting a ton of pirates early cheese coined out into cheese Ziliax. It's about as aggressive a start as you can possibly get with this deck. Gamer found the swing turn, but then was just another fan of knives short of finding that extra turn he might have needed to get over the line. And then you see that final shrug from Yala, which says more than anything I can possibly come up with right now. Like that's the reaction to this series for sure. An absolutely razor fine margin for both of these players after they both tried to
hey, chat, I thought they were under stupid baby names. This one is really one of the worst. Alzheimer, Viagra, Stepmaster.
No, that pretty much wiped them all out, was that moment. I suppose, I liked the Paladin matchup the most between the Pipsy and the Lanessa. Did have some slow moments, of course, but it showed kind of the interesting differences between the two decks and back and forth that can take place.
And now we see
there's some really nice sombrero snags here. Violent Shadow. It's like, it's very...
the last spot to qualify.
It's a perfect flavor to eat quickly.
As I was mentioning yesterday, this really did seem to be the battle of the power regions, and now with China returning, I'm looking forward to hopefully 2 of the best players putting on a real classic. But hey, if this series has taught us anything, it's that you have to stay tuned, because no one has any idea what is going to happen. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes with some more Hearthstone. Don't go anywhere.
No, really.
If you hit Thrall's Gift, you slam the Sigil of Skydiving, because it's likely that just with those
Skydiving baguette.
Effectively 1 more minion on board to be able to get lethal, and that's if Sif is...
No, she doesn't report me for saying baguette jokes.
Challenge this,
that's the most essential part of my stream. You change.
Tarslick and Fan of Knives coming into hand for Sif could help answer this a little bit.
You're an unstoppable force at this point. Get out of the way.
Answer everything.
The big thought here is, if you take this damage, you'll never be able to recover. The horn is always going to be a threat for lethal. You can let any minion stick. But if you go for the Fan of Knives and Tarsak now, then if Jarla reloads, then you're just back in the same place as you were previously. It just has to go Fan. This is going to fill up the hand. Oh! Nope, okay. He's going to go ahead and get the prep Tarsak out of the way just to make sure the board's fully cleared. Open up the hand. Oracle Sigil here sounds fantastic.
If you're gonna find the 7 baguettes, abandon 7 baguettes of breakdancing and somewhat eternal glory, you need a baguette locator.
To go for heal. This might be
Now is. I mean, Sif does have the Speaker Stomper though, which if there is any threat of that, yeah, Speaker Stomper just gonna come down.
I mean, it's still you're taking so much damage.
Yeah.
Horn's going to be lethal for the rest of the game, and Sif is still multiple turns away. This is, at the very least 5 damage that's able to be put out. I mean, if Horn's picked up right now, it's lethal. Nope.
How much damage does Jarla want to push this turn? You can just push as much as possible, right? I'll start with the Cactus Cutter. And it's a pop-up book. That feels a little expensive. I mean, could just go for the Trusty Companion here.
I think Gorgon Zormu's fine also.
Gonna go for that Trusty Companion. I like just pushing this damage here. Setting up for next turn lethal. There's a couple of ways you can do it, either with that Thrall's Gift into Bloodlust.
Bro, so long the
Even if it's just from a couple of moves from the Dangerous Cliffside, or that top deck potential that you talked about as well with the Horn.
Okay, hits backstab Fan of Knives. That's going to be a full board clear. But no Speaker Stomper played, so that is going to be enough. With just a location proc, pop-up book, Thrall's Gift, Bloodlust, or just Horde. That's
not all the time just creating my cholesterol.
Didn't have Horde.
Flags.
Did have enough.
Crystal in your brain.
Gift, pop-up book. That's 2. Then the
This is the driving mechanism behind the disease.
Set up. So.
And if you eat healthy enough, you don't get it.
Going, but,
That's when it's low, you don't get it.
And Jarla just stuck enough damage.
We get plugs, not brain, from our diet every day. We can remove them all the time.
Where you can start thinking about making an offensive of his own. It's just too little, too late. And Jarla goes up 1-0.
Yeah, I also feel like Jarla played a little bit faster that time around. I don't know if that was just a comfort thing. Seemed like he was definitely in control of that game the whole time, but
the reason it's so good is it's not just Shadow, several seasons.
So not surprised that he maybe felt a little bit more comfortable and just made the plays that he needed to.
Yeah, and a big thing to note, this is this match in particular is a rematch from the initial matches that happened off stream.
If you have get Alzheimer's, you can have amazing turnarounds to the good direction if you lower your cholesterol.
That match was this matchup we just saw was Rogue versus Shaman.
Show me the story stuff, maybe.
On the Rogue. And so this is a big win for Jarla, not only because you're starting 1-0, but also because in that first series against Sif,
cholesterol drives on some plaque formation.
Even lost this particular matchup.
Well, there you go.
That's got to feel good for Jarl to kick things off in this manner.
Yeah, and I think also of note that this is the
Don't be resistant
final
to
deciders match of
changing
the
your
bracket.
diets.
So one of these players moves
You're
out
gonna have to
of
eat some
Group C
vegetables.
and into the top 8 tomorrow, and the other player is out of the tournament. So very important series for both of these players here, and like you said, probably has to feel really good to get that first game under your belt, but could go all the way to game 5. We've seen that already happen, but we're going to find out what's going to happen next. Yarla still has the Pirate Demon Hunter and that Pipsy Paladin left, so kind of interesting to see where those go.
Pipsy Paladin.
That one legendary makes all the difference in how we title the decks.
Yep. All right. And we are going to get to see the Paladin in action here, and it is going to be against the Rogue once again for Sif. Sif feels like Sif has a lot of confidence in the Rogue. Many players at this level do, because the core gameplay hasn't changed all that much from previously with the just Sonya and Grifta Scoundrel style of play. You just have more ways to easily draw cards with Oracle. Sif has the cover artist, which you can play around, and then Incendious, which is another win condition in the deck if it ends up going later. So these players have a lot of hours logged on this because the deck's been so popular in previous metas.
If this so fucking troll of a card, man.
Yarla's hand is very interesting as well here. Has an Oracle, Grifta, double Divine Brew, and the Lanessa already. And picking up Holy Glow Sticks. Lots of the kind of combo pieces already, but needs to just get to that point and maybe find something like some Ohm Managers to get some additional coins as well. Not a lot going on these first few turns, however.
Yeah. But now that for Sif, both players are basically just going to play a little bit of solitaire here as they try and assemble their various combo pieces. There's O Manager. Oh, jeez. Okay. I want all these things, so I kind of just want to hero power again.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think Yarla really wants to play out the Oracle quite yet. Could go for it, but then what? Has to go for using up the single coin in hand just to activate the draw. Then you're looking at a really full hand of cards, and you're down the coin.
Yeah, argument for it. Just seeing more of your deck. And also forcing Sif to kind of answer it, like acknowledge it, not just continue on his own game plan. But the upside is just better combos, you know, more damage from the glow sticks and the Oath Manager when you actually do go for a combo turn. And yeah, it looks like it is just going to be hero power pass, which I think I ultimately agree with. And Sif is also just in the hero power pass business.
Also,
both players just have their
top-decked.
combo pieces and nothing else. Okay,
Yeah.
salesman. Sure.
Baguette salesman.
Tempo. Finds damage. Or
Strides
reduce everything in hand.
I think Strides
Yeah.
is insane. So's damage. You know,
I mean, especially setting up for the Lanessa turn, right? Adding in
Ah,
that double damage
Lanessa,
could be pretty
Suck
significant.
my own dick. Paladin. Amulet of a rock. It's very strong. This is a really
Gets you
funny
reduce
card
the cost of
actually.
everything
A lot
you
of
can
these
pop
things
off
are
even
half as good
faster.
on the opponent side to get a fake copy. Six good jokes.
Oh no. Okay, damage.
Sif picks up an Oracle here, but gonna drop the Scoundrel and then go into Oracle potentially. Does have a lot of cheap cost cards here to follow up. And go for the
Baguette will
backstab.
rise again.
Second Shadow Step and a prep.
Alright, just I don't want to shadow set the Oracle here. You need to see further in the deck. You need the payoff cards.
Now, could also prep the Breakdance and Breakdance the Oracle, trade into the Grifta, but that does use up one of the Breakdances a little bit early. There is a Giant in hand as well, so I do like the Shadow Step.
Alright. Oh, their old manager.
I think I should. My time should be retarded Wednesday on Wednesdays.
Taking
No,
action.
it's too late. It's too late. It's too late.
Gotta start doing stuff.
Nope, too late.
So I really like the baguette jokes. He's gonna have to take a report here.
I think spending a little bit of time just
I would
doing
just believe-
calculations, seeing how much damage he could actually be able to push this turn.
That's enough, because that's a number. That's 4. Then you have 12. And then the glow stick is 8. Yeah, that's enough, right?
Should be.
Damn, bro, instead of dead on turn 5.
That's
Actions
more.
are still happening.
Yeah. It's more than enough. Oh yeah. Made me a little nervous there. Starting late, but did end up getting all the actions in. I mean, there was an infinite amount of damage there.
Yeah, there was quite a bit. I think again, Yarla just had
Well
to take
done,
a
Sharon,
breather
Yarla,
at the
Sharon.
beginning of the turn just to
We're the best
kind
of
make
us.
calculations, make sure that
You're
he
darn
actually
right.
didn't have enough, wasn't going to mess up the ordering. But I'm sure the Yarla has so much practice on this deck, especially.
We
this
reported
version
on
that,
YouTube. Is that even a
he really
thing?
wanted to have brought, but really here we see this is the power of the Lanessa.
Come
deck.
on,
It doesn't
YouTube.
even matter that Pipsy was in there. Who needs Pipsy? You just do the Lanessa combo.
Ridiculous positions. The amount of versus is high. When you're looking at metamorphosis, acupuncture, all the ways you can gain attack, hot coals too. So we are going to see a full toss here from Yarla. You just
Cat
want,
tosser. That's an insult I've
things
learned
early. You want the sock puppet. You want the patches,
from people with
you want the treasure distributor, or not the
Tourette's.
the other one, the 2-4. I forgot the name.
I'm a little teapot, probably out, bitch.
Oh, brain masseuse. There you
But
go.
yeah,
You want the brain masseuse. Doesn't hit any 1-drops. Yeah, in fact, gets a very expensive hand. And the thing about this hand is if you use the coin to just go sky the Oracle is stranded.
That's what my back sounds like.
So yeah, I think it's just hero
Yeah.
power.
there There's always that threat of Fan of Knives as well, just kind of cleaning up. I don't know how concerned Yarla is about that at this point. I think it's more the Oracle, but that is something to consider with not really the greatest follow-up if he were to have gone coin sigil into sigil.
One turn too late.
Well, now the question is, does Sif want to actually go for gear shift here and put the Fan of Knives back in the deck, or does he hold it? Knowing the skydiving is gonna pop next turn.
Honestly, I feel like you need counter pressure in this matchup. You can't play reactively. You need to start moving towards those giants, and you're never gonna get there if you just hold on gear shift here. Ends up getting a Fan of Knives back, so decision is gonna pay off, which I like. Even if Sif knew for 100% fact that he wasn't gonna get the Fan of Knives back, I think he still did the play. Oh, the Hosen.
The Hosen.
Oh, jeez. I mean, this game's just gonna end, isn't it?
It has to at some point. I hope.
It's gonna end quick.
I mean, it would follow the pattern that we've seen from Yarla in this series so far. Very fast first two games, and this one looking to shape up already being the same. For Sif, though, the hand is a little bit clunky. Does pick up the Oracle, but can't play Oracle and Fan of Knives yet. No prep for that Fan of Knives either. His dubious purchases are just a little bit too clunky. Yarla's even picked up the Ziliax on his side as well.
The more I look at this hand, the more it's just slam dubious purchase and just hope it hits the Hosen. I don't think there's another play.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty rough hand here for Sif. Alright, getting some draw. Didn't find a prep. Yeah, couldn't.
Not even gonna hit the Hosen. And yeah, this is a lot of damage. I mean, this is probably just like Sock Puppet Ziliax hero power and just push it all.
Does Yarla want to add the Brain Masseuse in there as well? This could play all three, right? Sock Puppet, Brain Masseuse, Ziliax, and still hero power.
Yeah.
If the Ziliax comes out, does get to push, what, set Sif to 8, I believe?
Acupuncture Hot Goals picked up. I mean, it's a pretty curated pool of spells. Acupuncture, Metamorphosis, Hot
Curated coconut.
Oh.
Has to pick up press.
Yeah.
And even then,
It's needed
it's
prep
just
almost
dead.
every turn.
Yep. No prep. That's it. That's the game. Oh my god.
Again.
What
I
a
love
difference.
Sif's hand
Last
gestures.
series versus this series.
Yeah.
Pace of play picked up a little bit. Just a 3-0 from Yarla after that is just crazy. A big turnaround, and that's a huge win. I mentioned Yarla fell to Sif in the opening initial match of the group, and then comes back and takes one of the tougher games in the lineup, the Rogue Shaman, to kick the series off. And from there, it feels like smooth sailing. I feel like Sif maybe is in a better spot if goes with a different deck to fight off maybe the decks that are slightly faster than the Shaman. But that's just a series where Yarla's decks were just doing everything that they were supposed to. It's just like textbook play. Lanessa combo for a win on turn 5.
No tournaments just yet.
From hand after, Grifta, sure, but Hero Power passing the first 3 turns of the game, you're not beating that. Like, these Demon Hunter starts, missed the 1-drop, but Sif had nothing. You're not beating it. So, a very rough series for Sif, and it's a shame because Sif had one of the coolest lineups in the field. I don't even think that's subjective. I think that's objective. That Sif had the coolest lineup in the field. But we'll go out of the World Championship, and Yarla moves on to quarterfinals.
Yeah. Had to wait quite a while just to be 3-0'd for that as well. Sif waiting in the sidelines for that match, and then that happens. Kind of a little bit devastating there for Sif or fans of Sif. But that does mean one of the Chinese players knocked out there. So we're not going to see at least all 4 China players make it to top 8, which I know some people were.
Various combo decks that you do see relying on that card, which is a lot. There are many of them currently in the game right now. So I think generally, I have been one of the most common people to make fun of Helya keeps in more plague-focused decks, because
I remember you always telling me off for it.
Yeah, you just play a 4-mana 4/4 and then your opponent hits you in the head and you die. It just never works. Never works. But Helya, the tech card for matchups, I think is a much better keep in these kind of scenarios.
Here though, we are going to see both players in no rush to commit to their early turns. Mining Casualty is going to come down for Misra and start just applying some pressure. But this matchup just gets really weird. Like, it's a weird deck to approach, isn't it? The Warlock, right? Like, yeah. How much of the plan is? I hope they don't draw and start like gaining 8 million, right? Because a part of the plan has to be that. But I'm guessing Mismail is just sort of maximum pressure constantly. So Yanming doesn't have the sort of freedom each turn.
Yeah, couple drinking Robin here.
Sort of perfect scenarios with some of the combo pieces to get to that high armor total.
I think that's it. Yeah, DK isn't the best deck at curving out and hitting you, but it can do it. So if you can curve out, just play something on 2, something on 3, play out Helya, hit a few plagues fairly quickly, get the lifesteal freeze weapon going, push damage with that. Maybe you can just about get there, because if it comes down to battle of the late game, I mentioned Helya being particularly effective, from a top-down perspective. In this matchup, not so much, because eventually they're going to find Kill Jaden, and then, good luck with that from there. So it's really going to be Mismal playing the aggro in this situation, and Yanming trying to resist.
Which is interesting, right? Because as we saw the weapon discover there, the Crusher was picked. However, I would have been very interested to see what the outcome was if... You okay?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just laughing at the. Well, I mean, the decks are going to get destroyed by Kill Jaden anyway.
Yeah. Hang on a minute.
Can I interest you in 8 hands from beyond?
But I was thinking if Crusher and the Plague weapon was on offer,
Yes,
would have been kind of interesting to see if they went for the Plagues or stuck with like the higher damage weapon versus the lower damage. Because until the deck is gone, Plagues work, right? And that's damaging, increasing cost of the next card, you know, creating more tokens for pressure. Like, there is a certain amount of value to that. It would have been interesting to see if Misma had the choice. Obviously they did not, so they are going to go for the Crusher. But yeah, I am kind of with you on the old legendary pick from that, since Wheel's going to cause the same problem.
You could see it, right? He was just, as soon as it became an option, he then looked over at his deck list and was like, okay, what does my deck look like if I do this?
It's too spicy in this one,
particularly with Marin already in hand, right? It could potentially be pretty effective as an aggro plan. But we are already grasping at straws because this is going to be a tough matchup from him.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, I think I may have misspoke. Oh no, I didn't. Never mind. I couldn't see Wheel of Death on the list, and then realised it's in the ETC, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at around.
I bought 2 of these pizzas, but this time
Wheel is in the list.
chili is twice as hot.
I've played it before, but yeah, it is in the ETC, so it makes sense.
It tastes different.
You see already, kind of stalled out in terms of pressure from Misma. A little interested by the Quasi Crusher over the Hellier on the previous turn. Was just a little bit of damage immediately, but I wonder whether the consolidated damage from the minion would have been more effective over 2 turns.
Yeah, I think I agree, because it's not like you're not expecting to swing the weapon 4 times this game, right? Like, if you don't swing the weapon 4 times this game, then you've won. So it's fine.
Like, I don't know, have plans changed? Are you now 8-handsing and then playing Hellier? Because, like, that seems prohibitively slow to me. Like, one of the things about playing 8 hands is that you are basically guaranteeing your opponent's Kill Jaden draw at that point, right? With the way it works. So I don't think that's going to be a long-term strategy that works from there. So just a little bit interested in the ordering between Hellier and the weapon, but sure. Hellier is in play now. Boom! Hey. That's how you do it. Frostplague, straight away. The good one.
Yeah, and so far, Yanming hasn't really pieced the good stuff together, I would say. Mainly just a lack of the ship parts, really, because the brittle players are there, which are really nice, but none of the ship pieces to really cause the maximum problems here. Is this just going to be like weapon pass? Just play the harp, get it equipped? No? Okay. Gonna slippery slope instead. This kind of does the same job as harp, right? And heals to an extent by freezing the Hellier. Oh, the ship's there now, though. Yeah, not a lot to do here for me, Smal. Seamstress is like, it's a good card, but in this scenario, when you want to go max pressure, not going to be quite good enough. Just going to put it down, obviously, as a 3-3. Rush not really coming into play here. And the follow-up is a little bit slow as well at the moment with the Marin. Of course, this is a pretty aggressive board with the weapon swing, but the Marin is basically taking the foot off the gas next turn, isn't it?
Are we even doing, like, the Raven special? Like, Marin Crown, just to go pressure instead?
Like, if it works, it works. So I don't know what to say. I don't like people getting too locked into just one choice when you've got such a nice amount of choices from Marin.
Okay, but one of the options used to make your cards cost 0 and they nerfed it, which is why it's now better to consider some of the other options. I'm not allowing you to claim that as a victory for Raven thing.
Too late. Too late. Look, for the cost of 1 crown, okay.
Bro just want to play the ground. Bro just wants to play the ground.
Of course, going to reduce some of the damage and this is again where it gets just a little bit tricky, because you can't just, or you don't want to, should I say, throw down the crystals, right? Like, you don't want to throw down a defense crystal and pass. You really want to combo these into giving them reborn, or destroying them, resummoning them, so on, so on. You want to do the funky stuff. So this crystal, even though it is cheap right now, it can't just be thrown down willy-nilly here. No crown.
Let's go.
Strict misplay.
Yeah, it's fine. Now, how stupid is it to blow up the other 3 treasures just so you then guarantee that wand draws and discounts 3 powerful, expensive cards?
I feel
crown here.
Stupid.
I feel like you're taking more steps towards my side of town here, Salt, and I love it. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I like the way your brain works right now. The way I see it, honestly, is you have to do. I think the onus is on me, Smile, to do something to win the game, and that is something. So I can't argue with that. It's definitely a thing that can be done. Another freeze on Marin's going to try and buy Yangming some time.
Just in case people are still baffled by what we're talking about. There you go.
He's on curve. I heard you are supposed to spend your mana, so. Yeah. Oh, just the time? Yeah. This makes sense, because it's getting too little too late to try and be over with these crystals now. Or with the crystal, since there's only one in hand. Oh, hold on a minute.
Well, there was a master plan here somewhere. Show it to me. Okay, it's just constant.
Okay.
I'm about to get another mace.
Not terrible, but they could have been more expensive cards if we did it next time. With a strictly bigger discount on some of these.
It's worth saying, it is the control mirrors that do this to you, right? Like, there are few less futile, or no, hang on, what am I saying? Few more futile situations than being the less slow of 2 control decks in a control mirror, right? Because generally you are doomed in that situation.
Right.
So when you come up with these utter nonsense plans to try and finagle wins out of absolutely nowhere,
need some more cooling.
These are the situations where you tend to be doing it, right? When you're like, okay, can't kill my opponent, and if it goes to turn 25, I'm just incredibly dead.
Game. Yeah, exactly.
So how do I make something bizarre happen to find my way out of this?
Yeah, you are 100% preaching to the choir at this point, because I was very down when it comes. Gonna be able to clear up the crystals though, or at least the first version of it. Launch the ship, go! More armor. What exactly is it? Trying to see if there's any good summoner plays right now. But without the second crystal. It's really hard managing the resources, isn't it? Because like, you could do something as simple as just reverb the crystal, for example, just to get more of that armor into it. But then you could say, oh, but what if we Exodar and reverb the the shit, the stuff like that? And it's just like, oh, it's so difficult, because it's really hard to judge what resources to hold on to. And obviously Yangming will be way more comfortable with the Warlock than like I am, for example, but it does feel like these decisions are pretty tough. But if you look at that already, it's all like 12 armor gained. Yangming is suddenly got to be feeling very, very safe indeed.
Yeah, we're back to the start of the game, basically. Like, you had your push, it's already failed. I'm back to full health, essentially. 25 effective health.
How much do you think Yaming is reliant on the wheel in this matchup? Is it one that you think that's like plan A for from ETC, or do you think there's plenty of other things to do?
Oh
to seal the
shit!
deal
I think there are
It's 30
probably
degrees Celsius in
other
Sweden right now.
things to do, but
I predicted this when it was
DK can go
18.
long, right?
8.
Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be 30
You do
degrees
have
today.
positions where wheel is just incredibly safe if you get the hand to line up in the right way, in which case, like, yeah, sure, you can just go for it, and it's kind of inevitable, but...
Quarter
You
baguettes.
get into this kind of spot already where you're like...
In American
I've got
football, they
Sargeras
have a
out.
quarter
I'm getting
baguette.
to juice the Sargeras with my first option, you know, I'm not even having to react to the board, so it's just massive immediately. Plus, I already have Kill Jaden in hand, you know, like... Wheel
He knocked on his butt cheeks, we were invincible, it's not hitting a metal sheet.
right? Like you're tending towards chaos a little bit at that point if you cast wheel, whereas I think you're just in incredible levels of control in a situation like this already.
right. Me smell so far, just not a lot
Bang!
available, is there? I'll start by punching you in the face, and then see where that leads.
Like you're already looking at like it just starts to get so nonsensical.
Disgusting.
Can I dump my hand and then like yog tendies and my tendies do like 20 face damage? Is that a win condition? You know, like.
Or do endless mining casualties? Health and safety's gonna have to get involved at some point because they just can't keep getting away with this.
Sure.
Bro, this card is so fucking strong. He's won from this whole fucking part alone. Alone, maybe.
So all that click really did was get 6 times one step closer to attacking. Yeah, mining casualties wasn't really the goblet hit, was it?
It was not. There were probably a couple of better cards as options here.
What's a delicacy? Fucking coffee right
I'm
now,
just
man.
very interested to see maybe even how the hand gets dumped enough to make like Exodar 1 costs, you know, work.
Another parrot.
Oh, just gonna go for the launch into the Kraken.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Bro, I started an HP plus 25.
I mean, yeah, there's a board. 38 effective HP, board dominance. Your opponent has a Sargeras that does nothing. And thus begins the march towards inevitability.
Yeah, now you just got to ask yourself, can I even get through this armor? Never mind all the extra that's gonna start really racking up. It's just so often too much. Yeah, that's gonna get used up. Obviously, as Saul mentioned, do nothing but create a 6/12 that can at least attack next turn. But it gets to the point of like, so what? At the end of the day, right? Like, there's nothing really gonna do anything here. There is Kill Jaden already in hand as well, so Yangming can follow up with that to like sort of delete their own deck to make it safe versus some of those shenanigans like Plagues we talked about earlier. So it's just, I don't know, it's just not a lot of options. These
You can kind of see it. You can kind of see it on V-Smile's face as well, right? He's sort of playing cards with this look on his face, like, I mean, I guess if I have to.
And this is the scenario I found myself in when I was sort of, you know, practicing this deck in preparation for Worlds, obviously. And it's just like I ran into a lot of players who clearly were just like, I don't really know what to do, you know, at this point. Because it's like, you know, when you get to this sort of situation, it's like you've got 50 armor, you can generate more, you've still got pressure. It's like, how does anyone get through that? And then, obviously, then if you put like wheel on top of that, then they've got a time limit to get through the armor. They weren't even sure if they could get through in the first place.
Yeah. I guess the window right now is that Yangming still has to tap through the remainder of the deck to make sure that you have all of these key cards before you you blow the whole thing up with Kill Jaden. which means that you know, he's a little bit vulnerable to 6 damage from plagues every turn if you can hit all 3 before the cards get drawn.
Oh,
kind of thing. Like Sargeras there already, like, Yari barely has to commit to the board to be in charge of tempo of the game anyway, right? Because it's just such a huge board that comes out for free at the end of every turn.
And I do feel like this a Death Knight in general doesn't do well at repeat clears, right?
I mean, he's trolling this guy, man.
Clear boards, of course, but it doesn't really do well with just repeating clears. So it's kind of a strange one because, like you said, these imps aren't like massive threats, but they still exist, right? Something has to be done about them. Yogi's gonna come down and steal.
Still a weak play from Ismail.
So that's something, but still not exactly mind-blowing here for me, Ismail.
Some value at the very least.
I thought about that RNG there. I was wishing for something very beneficial to happen to me, Ismail. Like cheating, pretty much.
Plagues.
No, there you go. There's all 3. About all you can hope for. And Soul Freeze is the draw, which is the most inconsequential of the remaining cards. Yep, just taps again, eats another 6 potentially. Like, this is just what he has to do.
It's pretty much just ETC, right? That's just what he's literally ETC bottom of the deck basically at this point. Because once you've got ETC, you can just enable the plan, right? Of go wheel, don't die, clear the board, play kill Jaden, whatever, like who cares, and then done.
Just in the meantime, you've got to take 6 a turn and make your cards cost 1 more, which is slightly frustrating, but you're so far ahead that you can almost afford to do that.
I respect it.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
There it is.
Yeah, you can even play the ETC now with the that should be fine.
That's great.
Guessing it's wheel. Yeah, not too much of a surprise. And yeah, this is the thing. It's like, as soon as that push was stopped, it is weird, right? Because this just feels helpless. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. Oh, CNE. That'll get there. Point that at the face. Job done.
How much damage is that up to? 100? Oh, right,
8. 8. Not quite.
8 damage for the low price of 10 mana.
So what beasts can we get?
I have 2 pretty nice coffee to choose from. Bourbon Jargon, which is a coffee that tastes way too much like alcohol and bourbon.
Amalgam.
I didn't like coffee.
Job done. Alright, how can we lose?
Checkmate.
I have La Bomba, which is like a rustic, honestly, almost clay tasting coffee, but still expensive, you know.
Oh, it's a tilter, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm staring at the hand, trying to just think of like the best possible outcomes, and it still just doesn't feel like it matters.
Yeah. It's just such an absurd level of late game when you stack Sargeras on top of Kill Jaden with Wheel of Death thrown in there as well. Like, this is ultimate end game. You do not mess with this.
And also bear in mind, there's actually been this is not even maximum end game because Exodar wasn't used, right?
No,
was stolen.
No.
So this isn't even its full power, right? Like that's the big thing. Like if you get the sort of repeating ships going and get to use the Exodar to create all the
happy to have some viewers here today.
Again, it's
Thursday. How you doing?
Very silly. And this is just like I would say even
working hard, hardly working.
Outcome game. This isn't anything special. And
better to shit in the sink than sink in the shit. That sauce you lost, but now yours get lost in the sauce.
Times in a row.
Okay. Hold. That can do something, surely.
Double rank.
It's a pretty good rank.
I was hoping for more, but yeah, it's the best you got.
Now imagine these a few turns ago, straight after the choice.
I wasn't 13 HP.
Think about it.
Yeah, 16 straight to face. GG, game over.
That was like, I have the alpha.
More damage.
Go. as a song.
Threads as an afterthought here.
You can also
just to
call that
guarantee
song
the
Rappers
16
with
defense.
Dementia.
I don't hate it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, with weapon swing and hero power, it's not a nothing amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
It hasn't turned out to be a very good pick, has it?
What do you play, Deathwell?
No, it's not.
Or
I
should
think
they
there
make
was
an
a thought to
explosion?
do it, and then like that plan was thrown in the bin.
No.
It's in the forgot proclivities. 1 quarter.
16's a lot. That is a lot of damage. NGL.
The only problem is just
Of
yeah,
the
this is the problem with a lot of these late game scenarios. When you kind of pushing everything you've got, it's just like ceaseless expense.
And that's the problem, right? Because classically in this kind of situation, you're like, it's always been the case, right? Dino Tamer Bran in Warrior, Odin in Warrior, whatever these like big win conditions.
Hi guys, how's my pronunciation?
Pressure them on that turn, and then they can't play it, and then you win the game, right? They're gonna play their 8 mana 2.
I'm working on being a death metal vocalist.
Shoves
it to a bitch.
Well, now there's just a 0 mana card that clears the board that you can play alongside that win condition when you're doing it, so that makes it a lot more difficult.
I can't hear what you're saying. Alright, good. Let's carry on.
So there goes fatigue for the rest of the game. Not going to exist for Yanming. No plagues, of course, or anything like that. That all just completely all disappears from existence and will never come back, at least for this game. And these demons, like you said, even just these imps are going to be very frustrating for me, Smell.
Oh, it's getting closer than it looked about 5 turns ago, though, Raven. Because now spending landing in the right place on that CNE suddenly starts to get a little bit more interesting. Pumpkin to the face. I think you might end up deeply regretting not getting that weapon swing through to the face on the previous turn, by the way. The pumpkin to the face every turn, spend some corpses, get that CNE juiced, and just try and get over the line to burst. Because the armor gain's gone. The health gain is gone.
Yeah, does this turn have to be Primus and eat the Expanse? Or can I just not see a way to deal, like the other way to deal with it in this hand?
You are probably correct.
I know it's not like Yanming needs lethal, but you don't really want to.
Oh, that's so shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 29 corpse. I didn't spend them. Right.
Oh. Awkward. No way to attack with it though, which is frustrating. So how much is a 20, 25, 28 showing? So yeah, Mismar has like 20 health to play with here. That's a million. This is fine.
Now, is this going to be like sort of trade as much as possible here for Yanming and just hope the taunts just keep on taunting?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have the long, hard conversation with yourself about whether you can afford to use Soul Freeze in the face of potential direct damage, which, yeah, I think you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just take 3, down to 17, push the damage.
Now you are, I'm not going to say safe, but feeling a lot safer anyway. And suddenly the Ceaseless Expanse living, well, now there's a faster clock than Wheel of Death, right?
Yeah. Because the problem that you have here as Mismile is if you're ever put on the defensive, you actually can't really afford to play Ziliax ever. Because if you play Ziliax, you know your opponent still has reverb left.
Right.
In which case,
farting reverb
that you've kind of got them on.
Okay.
Bro, dude, the only card. You could have done anything.
This was the plan. This was the plan. This is played for and got from Mismile because now he's got Ragnaros's and no munches lining up going face. This is starting to get very real.
It'd be like cancer in your butt cheeks.
Oh no! No way does he win this game!
There's still a chance.
When you are a performance
There's
artist.
still a really good chance!
Bro, I would have won if it did not kill Jaden.
Employee of the month has just been found, which gives a friendly minion lifesteal, I think, right?
Reverb,
So you
give the
rag?
rag
Yeah.
lifesteal.
This is the
Oh
best
my.
game ever.
Kill Jaden, let's go. Reverb, okay.
Reverb that as well,
Soul
so
freeze.
it dies if it gets hit. Yeah, makes sense. No.
Okay, is there a way through the toilets? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there is,
Ziliax,
of course,
right?
Ziliax. Yeah, of course,
Ziliax,
Ziliax is down.
He's
Oh!
He won the game.
Oh my
This
god!
round was the hero all
Armageddon!
along.
That was
I
an
tried to
Armageddon
tell everyone
moment.
For years. Unbelievable. And honestly,
Unbelievable.
winding all the way
Oh, this
back,
was a good Worlds
I
games,
actually
man.
think the Young
Man.
Steel probably,
Yeah. Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
won me smart that game. Because if that sticks, then it can die.
I really like my cancer
create
joke.
another ship,
None of the best
and
things you can
then
eat against
obviously
cancer
X-Star
in vegetable
it
ways seems to
creates
be
more ships, and then if there's
spinach and
basically
then
any
walnuts for
armor
nuts,
cycle
and it's
in that game for
it's
the
almost as good as the Rivals
it's done
chemotherapy,
industry for me, Smash.
walnuts specifically.
The steel was
The more you
perfect
know.
timing and just in
They were not having any butt cheeks, just sitting on like an uneven surface. Come on, give me some tournaments here. What if I do something like Slayer? I'm feeling kind of tired though. Slay the Spire. Honestly, let's just go to YouTube. I think a little, you know.
I call it Trollger, rhymes with grub. And this one, I call it Release the Trollger.
Oh, hell no.
As they can't make massive sudden adjustments to their movement or airborne.
It's low roof. Oh no. Our hero is stuck in a predicament. I'll put a YouTube stream here.